Hello, friends.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome back to Two Gals and a Book podcast.
Yes.
In this podcast, we discuss a book. Today, it's Dan Brown's The Secret of Secrets, a recent recently published book, a bestseller. And we just want to remind you that in this podcast, as we turn page by page, you learn a little bit about us, and hopefully a little bit about you.
Yes.
And today we are at Starbucks. Maybe you see it in the background, but anyway, we have our
our beverage here,
our
warm beverage,
pistachio lattes.
Yes.
And as we go through the book, you will know why we came here to promote Starbucks, I guess.
We are not getting paid for this.
That's not the real reason. Robert Langdon talks about Starbucks in the pages of this book. And by Robert Langdon, I mean our protagonist. Yes.
Faulkman talks about it.
Yes. Yeah. So not the writer. Well, yeah, the writer. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, it'll come up and we'll
yes, and we'll
tell
remind you.
Yes. But I'm Lily. This is Araceli.
Yeah.
And we are here because we like to read. So Happy New Year. This is a first book for 2026 for us, and hopefully many more to come. So this was a very, very big, thick book. But if I were to summarize it, I would say this is a thriller. Robert Langdon is a character from other books, The Da Vinci Code,
Angels and Demons, The Symbol, Inferno.
Lots of popular books.
Yes, I know.
And movies.
I know I'm missing one, but yeah, anyway.
And so this will be made into a Netflix series, is what I learned.
We're excited about that.
We are. So I like to live on the edge. I just finished it like right now. But it's a very thick book, and it does take you on an adventure for sure. It takes place mainly in Prague. And it all takes place all in one day. Pretty much 24 hours.
Yes.
Maybe less than 24 hours, right?
More than 600 pages in a 24-hour
span.
Yeah. So we're in 3 places, like Lily said.
Yes.
The main place is
Prague.
That's where Robert Langdon is with his girlfriend, Catherine Solomon. She was a guest speaker at an event, and he joined her. At the same time, we are in New York, where Catherine Solomon's publisher is at, and the book she's talking about will be published soon. So we get to see part of that action. And then the third place is London. And here we have
Mr. Finch.
Mr. Finch. Remind us, Lily.
He works for the CIA.
Yes. And he does not want this book to be published, basically.
No.
Because it would expose CIA secrets. So these 3 stories are being developed at the same time. So you are constantly left in suspense.
Yes.
Because, you go from one place to the other to the other.
They're all connected.
Yes.
They're not independent of each other. So there's a reason for all of them.
So at the beginning, you might feel frustrated because you don't know who's who quite yet.
Yeah.
But we promise you it will get good if you have not read it yet.
Yes. No, it's good.
Keep going and maybe wait and listen to us until you finish the book.
Yeah.
You're gonna read it.
It's like reading a movie, really.
Yeah.
It definitely.
A lot of spoilers with us.
Yeah. So, but read it first. If not, just listen and join in our discussion on your own, I guess, in your own little voice.
Yes.
All right. So we're going to start because it's going to be a very long discussion. Lots of things to uncover. Lots of things that unravel here.
And Lily will start.
I will start in the prologue. It says, the afterlife is a shared delusion created to make our actual life bearable. And I wrote, why? I don't know. We go through the motion of this physical world only to have eternal life. So I think when it says the afterlife is a shared delusion created to make our actual life bearable, when we have faith, right, or those that believe in like once you die, your soul goes to heaven, right? Some of us, that's what keeps us going, right? What makes living here
bearable,
like hopeful, like it gives us hope, right? Like this is not the end. There will be something better. And so I think that comes with faith, something believing in something that you don't know. You just hear about it, you read about it and hope it's true. Because in reality, who can come back from the dead to tell us that it's actually
And
true.
that's the premise.
Yes.
Either you
Yes.
believe or you don't. So there's people that believe that there's life after death,
Mhm.
a better life after
Better
death.
life. Mhm.
And then there's people that think this is it. And
Yeah.
even within that group of people that believe there's life after death, there's varying opinions about how that looks like. Right?
Yeah.
And that's where religion comes in.
Mhm.
And really, that's the premise of this book. It explores, the different beliefs.
Well, and it makes you question you.
Yeah, definitely.
What
It
you
gets
is
you
like,
thinking.
huh?
Mm-hmm.
So that's when Araceli says you learn a little bit about you. You definitely start to think if this is.
You reconsider, or
Definitely.
or think a little deeper, or
It brings
contemplate
awareness
more.
to what you know, and you're like, well, what is really true?
Yeah.
You know.
So I'm on page 6, Lily, and here one of the things that is mentioned early on in the book is NDEs, or near-death experiences, or out-of-body experiences that have been documented in many countries. So basically, they're bringing it up from the beginning. Like, we can't deny that our souls leave our bodies, because a lot of people have said it's happened to them. So I will read to you what this is, or how it's scientifically explained. OBEs, they call them here, out-of-body experiences, almost always presented in the same manner. The perception that one's mind had been temporarily separated from its physical body, floating upward and hovering without form. Despite feeling like real experiences, OBEs were nothing but imagined journeys, usually triggered by the effects of extreme stress and hypoxia on the brain, sometimes in conjunction with emergency room anesthetics like ketamine. So that is how it's scientifically explained away. No, people are delusional, people are imagining. It's the drugs they're taking. But they do happen. So that we know. Why or how?
Whether it's drugs or not, it's happening.
It's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's move on to you, Lily, page 10.
Page 10? So, I don't know where we're here. Goodness, these are not the... I love the pages, but my posters are sticking to it.
Oh, so it's tearing at your book.
So, chapter 1, this is Langdon talking about Catherine Solomon. This is the author that is getting ready to publish her book. And they've been friends for decades, right?
But now they're a couple.
just now entering a different relationship.
Yes.
It says, Langdon admired the elegance of her features. Despite being 4 years older than Langdon, she was more stunning every time he saw her. The deepening laugh lines, the faint wisps of gray hair, gray in her dark hair, her playful eyes, and that mesmerizing intellect. And to this it's a message to you ladies. Let's embrace our age and aging features. I love the way he described that. He described what we felt as like, oh my gosh, we're looking old, as something beautiful.
Yes.
Right? I love the way he describes her beauty, what others shy away from and cover up. So let's see this is a new perspective. Let's embrace
our wrinkles and our grays. Maybe next time you'll see us in grays.
I mean,
we
it's
clearly
already
are hiding.
here. I haven't dyed my hair in 20 years possibly.
Oh wow. Lily.
I know. So I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of plucking them out. So they're there, and Langdon says they're beautiful. So I will believe.
So we will hold on to that.
Yes.
Page 14. A fun fact. What we didn't tell you is that Robert Langdon is a symbologist. He's a professor at Harvard, which I don't know if it was stated in this book or in previous books, but that is a made-up profession. So there really isn't a symbologist specialty or degree or profession. But anyway, that's what Langdon's character does for a living. He teaches at Harvard. And so here he talks about the symbolism of the halo. And he talks about how it's a universally religious symbol. The halo, he says, is the disk of light that appears over the head of an enlightened being. In Christianity, halos hover over Jesus, Mary, and the saints. Going further back, a sun disk hovered over the ancient Egyptian god Ra. And in Eastern religions, a nimbus halo appeared over the Buddha and the Hindu deities. And he goes on. So I just thought that was an interesting fun fact.
Yeah,
we do that here too.
Yeah, they posed a question while Catherine was speaking. What is the most, the symbol that I forgot what it was, right? And to me, like, and everybody else, the crucifix, right?
Yeah.
The most religious symbol used or something like that, right? And then they said halo. I'm like, oh, I guess I didn't think about that, right?
Yeah.
And so now I'm going to be looking at artwork, at just different things differently, because it's there, faintly there, but it is there. Now, you talked about how he's a symbologist. Well, Catherine studies, she's a noetic scientist, if that's the word, but it is a study of human consciousness. And that is what this is pretty much about. And so that is what gets this book wanting to be destroyed from others. So he's a materialistic, right? He's materialistic, and she believes in stuff. So it's almost like their beliefs clash a little bit, but I love their discussions because he's open to listening to what she has to say and willing to be like, accept something else than what he's believed.
And I think we'll be showing you like the debates between them and exactly how their belief system aligns. And also, like Lily said earlier, it makes you question your own belief system and who are you more aligned with her or with him? Page 20, Lily, we're
same.
Yes, we're there again.
Yes, the same one.
Do you want to start and I will add?
You can add to it. So I highlighted, it goes on to talk about this creature, the golem. And in Prague, it is said that it's a fiction. I don't know if it's a fictional character, but they believe in this creature that, I don't know. I forgot what it was about.
I think we'll bring it up later, but it's supposed to be some kind of a phantom that wanders, some kind of a monster. Maybe we will tell you the origins of the golem later.
Yeah, it's something but I forgot. But early on, we see, actually in the epilogue.
Yeah.
In the epilogue, we see the golem is talking to this other woman, Brigitta Gesner. She's also a scientist, and she is tied up. And this creature, and right off the bat, I'm like, okay, is this science fiction? Why is it a creature, right?
Yeah.
They make it seem like a creature, a foreign creature that is not human-like.
A supernatural creature.
Yeah.
So that kind of throws you off too, because you're confused.
Yeah, it's like, what?
Is this a real human being, or is this an actual supernatural creature?
Yeah, and I was like, I don't love this. Anyways, but as it unravels and you understand what. So he
sees himself as a guardian angel.
He sees himself as a guardian angel to a woman. We don't know yet. He hasn't mentioned who. He says, her, I am her protector. Yes. I'm here for her. So he actually kills, and we know off the bat, he kills this Brigitta Gesner. It says guardian angels take many forms. And it made me think, like, maybe we have one, but we don't know about it, right? They don't have
I thought the same thing.
Right?
Yes.
And maybe, I don't know, it doesn't mean we have to see them, but maybe we do have one that follows us around.
And I'll read the quote before the one you read, Lily. This is the golem saying, his sole purpose on this earth was to shelter her, and yet she knew nothing of his existence. Even so, his time of service to her had been an honor. To bear the burdens of another was the noblest of callings, but to do so anonymously without any recognition at all, that was truly a selfless act of love. So can we be guardian angels, us mere mortals, right?
Right.
Because the way he defines it, I mean, do you have to be a supernatural creature to be a guardian angel for someone? It definitely is a tough calling.
Yeah, exactly.
To be selfless, to be anonymous.
So that's what made me think, like, is this person human, or is he coming from
the heavens? Yes.
Right.
Yes. So that we will explore as we turn the pages of the book. But yes, it was one of the most confusing parts. So page 29 for me, Lily.
Oh, okay.
I just wrote the premise. I guess the premise of this book on page 29. The comment caused several mutters from the back of the auditorium, but Catherine continued unfazed. So Catherine is doing her presentation. Remember, she's a guest speaker, and people are, mumbling. And then she says, in fact, you're all quite familiar with the paranormal phenomena, she declared. They go by names like ESP, precognition, telepathy, clairvoyance, out-of-body experiences. Despite being deemed paranormal, they are in fact entirely normal. They occur every day, both in science labs with carefully controlled experiments and also in the real world. So she's basically reminding us that all these things do happen in the real world, and they're really not paranormal, but very normal. And we will see a lot more of that in the pages to come.
And so what makes them paranormal?
Is it true?
Right? And why?
That they can't be explained?
Yeah, maybe that they can't be explained. So interesting. I'm on page
43.
43.
This quote reminded me of people like Charles Darwin and Stephen Hawking. I will just read to recall why I named these scientists. The quest to understand human consciousness was quickly becoming the new holy grail of science. And Faulkner sensed Catherine Solomon was poised to become a trailblazing voice in the field. If her theory proved correct, then the human mind was not at all as she had imagined. The truth would bring about a profound shift in our views of humanity, life, and even death. Faulkner wondered if he was about to edit a work that might one day stand alongside other paradigm-altering publications like On the Origin of Species by Charles Darwin and A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking. So here is Faulkner. He's the editor, reading Catherine's book, and he's in awe at what he's seen.
Well, he hasn't started reading it yet.
He's just the premise, I guess. Is that what it was?
I think, their writing style, it takes you to glimpses of the past. So it makes you understand, like, for example, there's going to be a conversation between Robert.
And Catherine.
Catherine and Brigitte. And how and why Catherine is there in Prague. But yeah, we know she's already dead. Right. So the same thing. We're going to have a conversation with Robert, Catherine, and Jonas. And that's when he decided, okay, we want to publish her book because of what he knows. He's making that comment like this is going to be a big, big book. So he's excited about it because it's a big contract for him. And he's the one that's in New York right now. So to give you a little bit of where we're at right now, we know Brigitte is dead. Brigitte is a neuroscientist who invited Catherine to Prague to give a lecture on noetic science,
her specialty,
field, and pretty much give a little a teaser of what her book is going to be about. Because right now we don't know what this book is about. We just know that it's
a big deal,
a big deal to many. And so and she invited Robert to come along with her. And he actually puts him on the spot when she asks him about symbols.
Yes.
So he's the one that talked about symbols in her lecture. He wasn't expecting that, but he's going to do it for her. And so, yes, Robert, this Jonas, it's like 2 a.m. and he's going to start reading this book. And it's uploaded to their Penguin House publishing company. Very secure
website, whatever. So yes, he's a total nerd. He's reading at 2 a.m. Really excited about.
I was like, oh, I want that job.
Yeah, right. Me too. I thought the same thing.
To read
Random House. In New York. Maybe that's where we'll retire.
Yeah.
If you're hiring, call us.
Call us, Penguin. If you're a thing now, I think you are.
Look, we're there again. I think you're a little bit before me. Go ahead, Lily.
So
page 47.
Page 47. Langdon. They're in the hotel room, and it says, Langdon was at a loss to find any logical explanation for what he had just seen. He's a runner. He's a swimmer.
Oh, yes.
Right? And early, so Catherine was supposed to meet Brigitte Gessner. No, they don't know if she's dead yet. So she's supposed to meet her in her lab.
Yes.
In this very nice lab that, it's only certain people are invited to.
Yeah, it's a very secure location.
Yeah.
So this is the day after the talk. So I guess it's a little bit over a 1-day book. We did say 24 hours.
We did, yeah. So maybe a little bit over
a day
1
and
day. Yeah. And he's taking a shower. He's going to get, he goes on his run. She's still sleeping. He comes back, he's taking a shower. And he notices somewhere on a bridge, right?
Yeah.
A lady wearing a black gown, a spears, like a headband with spears, and she smells like death.
Yes.
Really, really bad, like sulfur smell or something. And he's in his hotel room. Is he taking a shower or is this after?
This is, he came back from swimming and running. In the public pool, or I think.
Yeah, and he's like, it's like, he says, he's thinking coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. And so he's saying that because in the middle of the night, Catherine woke up in tears, frightened because she had had a nightmare. And what he saw was what she had described in her nightmares, like, that's a coincidence, like very exact.
She saw this woman and she even talked about how she smelled and how she looked.
Yeah.
So Robert is like, how can I be seeing this? You know, it was a dream that she just had last night. And then he also thinks, is it precognition? The ability to sense or foresee future events before they happen. Is this what happened to Catherine? Did she foresee this? Again, these are so-called supernatural phenomena. Do some of us have the ability to do that? And that is a fact. Some people can. And again, it's one of those things that is not aligned with scientific explanation. Like, you can't explain this. And these are the examples that Catherine gives throughout her talks, in her book. Like, these things are happening and we can't deny them anymore. The next page, page 48, I just had some fun facts because a lot of us know about the Titanic. I did not know this, so I'll read.
Yeah.
Morgan Robertson was an American author who published the 1898 novel Futility, which he based on a vivid nightmare he had about an unsinkable ocean liner, the Titan, striking an iceberg and sinking on one of its first voyages across the Atlantic Ocean. Incredibly, the book was published 14 years before the Titanic disaster. It so specifically described the ship's construction, navigational course, and sinking that the coincidences have never been explained. So this is one historic example of precognition. So that was fascinating to me. Then Catherine mentions an experiment, and I hope I can summarize it clearly because, as always, it's been a while. She said there's an experiment where they monitor the subject's brainwaves, and they show the subject a random stream of images. The images fall into 3 distinct categories: horrifying violence, tranquil calm, and explicit sexual content. And then she says that the brain started reacting not only before the image was displayed, but before the computer's random number generator had even chosen which image to show. It's as if the brain is not predicting reality so much as creating it. The notion that human thoughts create reality existed at the core of most major spiritual teachings. Buddha, with our thoughts, we create the world. Jesus, whatever you ask for in prayer, it will be yours. Hinduism, you have the power of God. So to summarize, Catherine and Langdon are having this debate about how humans can create reality by just thinking it. And they're trying to align their different philosophies.
This is still part of the presentation.
Okay, so yes, so so we're going back and she's presenting. So she's recalling, or the narrator is going back to the day of the presentation. So one thing that we didn't tell you, the book tells us at the beginning, or the author tells us at the beginning, all artwork, artifacts, symbols, and documents in this novel are real. All experiments, technologies, and scientific results are true to life. All organizations in this novel exist.
That's what scared me.
That's the scary part. So just keep remembering that as we go through these pages. You know, these experiments that we're mentioning are real. Anyway, moving along, Lily.
So yeah, I actually highlighted the same quote that you did, and it talks about how Langdon was stunned hearing Catherine present this to a hall in her presentation. And he even, and this is him thinking, there's this business guru, Robin Sharma, declared everything is created twice, first in the mind and then in reality. Pablo Picasso's most enduring quote proclaimed, everything you can imagine is real. And it made me think of something Richard always says. He always says, where the mind goes, energy flows.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he says we have to be positive.
Mm-hmm.
And it just made me like, oh, I guess if we're
Mhm.
always mad and angry or
Yeah.
already thinking this is what's going to happen, then it might just happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so these are
Hi.
actually true.
We have the story of the golem. See, we didn't remember, but I underlined some lines here that will give you the origins on page
Thank you.
53.
Give me the origin.
So
here,
you can
me too.
remember.
It's Jewish folklore.
Yes.
Mhm.
So I will read a couple of lines because when the author can summarize it better than me, well, why not? It's a hulking monster made of clay. It's Prague's oldest legend, a mystical guardian just like me. So the golem is telling us his origin story.
Mhm.
The golem knew the clay monster's tale by heart because it was his own, a protective spirit thrust into physical form, tasked with sacrificing his own comfort to carry another's pain. According to 16th century legend, a powerful rabbi named Judah Low dug wet clay from the banks of the Vatava River and used it to build a monster that he hoped would protect his people. Using Kabbalistic magic, the rabbi inscribed the Hebrew word into the forehead of the lifeless guardian, and the clay monster immediately sprang to life, infused with a soul from another realm. And the word that he inscribed was truth. The rabbi called his creation a golem, meaning raw material in Hebrew, a reference to the earthen clay from which the monster had been forged.
Earthen.
Therefore, the golem patrolled the streets of the Jewish ghetto, protecting those in danger, killing evildoers, and ensuring the safety of the community. The monster became lonely and confused by its own violence, eventually turning on its creator. It reminds me of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
The rabbi barely managed to survive the monster's attack by desperately reaching up and smearing away one of the Hebrew letters on the creature's forehead. And truth, because the word was in Hebrew, when he erased that one letter, the word truth became death. And basically, that is the origin of the golem. And Lily already told you that the book begins with the golem killing Brigitta Gessner, the scientist that invited Catherine to speak, because the golem sees her as an evil and devious betrayer. And so he had to punish her. It was a horrible death that we will not summarize. You can read it. But yeah, she was tortured and then killed. So yeah, that's the origin of the golem.
And so, throughout the book, it talks about the golem walking in public. And it's normal because people in Prague, I guess, come out dressed in different costumes, and that is normal. So he's able to walk around and pretty much weave himself into the public and not be noticed as
if he were walking around
doing
here.
Something. Yeah, exactly, because it's completely normal. So it's almost like it's a safe way for him to walk around and do his evil doings to protect that one person.
Go ahead.
Page 59, it was just a simple landing, took a deep breath, and hoped that John the Baptist had been correct when he promised, the truth will set you free. So, when he sees this lady on the bridge, Langdon, he's thinking the dream. And part of that dream was that there was a bomb or that the hotel was going to explode. So in his mind, he's thinking the hotel where they're staying at is going to go up in flames or explode. So he runs to the hotel and pretty much tells everybody to evacuate because something's happening. He even pulls a fire alarm. He goes up to the room because he's looking for Catherine. And then he jumps out the window, right?
Yeah, because he thinks it's going to blow up into the river.
Into the river. Very freezing river. And he doesn't find Catherine. But so then when he finally gets pulled up by one of the USZI, I don't know how you call them, one of the
cops.
Yeah, he's like a cop for the, I don't know if they're military or Czech National Intelligence Service. That's who he is.
Okay.
And they're like, what did you do? What's wrong with you? You know, and they're pretty much blaming him. It's like, why are you saying you just evacuated a whole hotel?
Yeah.
And so he's willing to say that, like, how can he tell them well, my girlfriend had a dream.
Yeah.
And so I think this is what was going to happen,
Yeah.
right? So he took a deep breath and he hoped that John the Baptist had been correct when he promised the truth will set you free. And why did I look it up? I looked it up because I'm like, did John the Baptist really say that? And actually, sorry, Dan Brown, please correct me if I'm wrong. Page 59. I looked it up and then I hope I'm wrong. In fact, it wasn't John the Baptist. It was Jesus.
I think it was Jesus.
Jesus who
Yes,
said that.
yes.
But maybe he said it through John the Baptist. I don't know.
Maybe it was an interaction with John the
Maybe,
Baptist.
yeah. But the truth will set you free. So he's holding on to this. That hopefully, if he's truthful to this check intelligence service guy, then he's going to be set free and be okay with the whole drama he just caused.
And Robert is struggling, right? Because he understands why people would not believe him. But he couldn't take that chance. He couldn't take that risk. So go on, lady.
So by now, editor Jonas Falkman is in his computer. He's already learned that someone has gained access to the computer system and they were hacked and it's no longer there, it seems like, right? He can't
It was
find...
deleted or, he can't find the draft of the book, of Catherine's book.
So he calls on the kid Alex, who is he's a young kid. He's a technician there. And he's like, it's okay. Well, they know, these youngins know how to work the computers.
Fix it.
And how to fix it. So Jonas is like, okay, he's going to find it, right? He's there's hope that he's going to find it. But as Alex is searching, he can't find it. So that's when we learn, okay, what is happening? Why is this book such a controversy if they don't want, whoever they are, they don't want it to be published. And so there's the thriller, the adventure that comes with the book. Page 82? Oh, you're still, okay.
I'm still, I took a break from Post-its.
Yes, I know, because you can keep reading. I know I did too. So knowing the future is a human obsession. And why is this
these pages really like our Post-its.
Yeah, I know. They're really, So I don't know why I wrote this, but it was something with Langdon. But there's a thought, because it's in italics. Knowing the future is a human obsession. Oh my gosh, that's so true, right? How would life be different if we knew the future?
Right.
Right? We wouldn't be doing what we're doing if we knew the future.
That is like another podcast, Lee.
It is.
It really is. But
So
I
it's
love
what
that
makes you
question.
think,
How would we live if we knew exactly what's going to happen in the future?
Yeah. And the choices we make now do shape our future.
And that's why we make them, right? Because of our future.
But what if we knew the future? Would we make the choices we do? I don't know. And so Landon told them who they are, I don't know. We all want to believe in magic or something beyond this world. So our minds often trick us into seeing things that are not really there. Again, he's a materialistic, right? He doesn't believe in stuff like that. So he's trying to say, like, our minds are the ones that trick us because we want to believe in stuff like that. So is it about curiosity or anxiety management? What does it say? Would knowing ease our anxiety? Would knowing the future, would knowing, like, there's no way to control it. If we knew what would happen, would that help us ease our anxiety because we already know what's going to happen?
Hey, have you ever gone to a palm reader?
I have not, and
Neither
I don't think I would.
I don't want to know. I can tell you that much. I don't want to know. I don't know. First of all, I don't know if I would believe the person.
Right? Yeah.
Second of all, I don't want to know.
No.
Because you're right. I don't know how I would live thereon after if I knew, what my future holds.
Or if you knew your life would be short, would you just live life to the fullest?
That's true. It could be a good thing, right? It forces you to live differently.
But why not live life to the fullest now?
Yeah. Right.
Let's do it.
True.
We're going to Alaska.
2027. I think it's still you, Lily, or maybe not.
So these are just my little notes that tell me where. Well,
and it's good to remind the reader where we're at too.
So Jonas Falkman, the editor, can't find this. And so the manuscript. And so somehow, some way, he went to a copy shop and he was able to access, I'm thinking this is before. And go to the copy place and he printed out the manuscript and he had it with him and was going to start getting ready because he liked reading it.
On paper,
the physical copy, right?
Yes.
And so, but then he's taken.
Oh, he was kidnapped.
He was kidnapped. Man-napped.
Yes.
Man.
Oh, yes, I know. Why do we say kidnapped?
Right?
I don't like.
That's
Yes.
another question for another day.
He was man-napped.
But he was man-napped and
person-napped.
yeah,
Adult napped.
two men. Yeah. He's on his run.
I don't remember if he was running, but in any case,
it was in the middle of the night.
He had the physical manuscript. Yeah. He was gonna go read it, and he was person-napped.
You're right. Person-napped. Yeah, let's say person-napped.
Yes.
He wasn't running, but he is a runner because it comes up because he can run.
Oh yeah, because he and Langdon have that in common.
Yeah, yeah, but he's
sorry, we're getting stuck on the details.
I know it's a long book. Yeah. So he gets kidnapped, and he has no idea why.
Yeah.
We don't know why, but yet there's
Yeah.
What if it has to do with this manuscript that was deleted, but yet he has a copy, right? So that reminds us of that. So the reason why the golem kills Brigitte Gesner is because he's protecting someone, right? And so he feels this Brigitte, this scientist, betrayed and used her. So therefore, he's taking revenge on her. He's gonna kill her. Not before he makes her tell him secrets.
Yeah.
Lots of secrets. She poured everything. So he is aware of a lot of stuff.
That he won't tell us just yet.
No. It comes up here though. The golem, he said last night Gesner had confessed, this is the golem. Yes. Last night Gesner had confessed a dark truth, revealing that her colleagues had secretly constructed a sprawling cavernous facility deep beneath the city of Prague. They call it Threshold. This is important. They call it Threshold. We know it's a secret, but we don't know what's there or why it's there just yet. We know that the golem, that's what he's after. That's where he's going.
And on page 100, I just have a fun fact for you. The capacity of our brain, it's fascinating. So they compare it to a stack of CDs, and
for those of you that know what CDs are.
Yeah, that's right, huh? So if you stacked up CDs, they would reach up to the International Space Station. That is the capacity our brain has to hold so much information. I mean,
why do I forget?
We can be really smart if we wanted to. if we wanted to. I'm just saying.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And let me add a little bit more to that. Materialist scientist, which is Robert Langdon, that's how he calls himself, remained baffled as to how an organ so small could possibly hold such vast quantities of information. And I have to agree. It seems a physical impossibility, which is why I am not a materialist. That is what Catherine says. So then we have materialist versus noetics. And just to define both terms, because they will come up, I will go ahead and read from page 101. The materialists believed that all phenomena, including consciousness, could be explained solely in terms of physical matter and its interactions. According to materialists, consciousness was a byproduct of physical processes, the activity of neural networks along with other chemical processes within the brain. For noeticists, however, the picture was infinitely less confined. Noeticists believed that consciousness was not created by brain processes, but rather was a fundamental aspect of the universe, akin to space, time, or energy, and was not even located inside the body. Langdon had been stunned to learn that the human brain represented only 2% of the person's body weight, and yet it consumed an incredible 20% of the body's energy and oxygen. Wow. The blatant mismatch, Catherine believed, was proof that the brain was doing something so incomprehensible that traditional biology had not yet been able to grasp. Fascinating.
That is fascinating.
I thought that was a really good summary of what we're dealing with here. Yeah. Okay.
Two different beliefs, and they're merging, they're coming together for this solution of
to find answers.
Thrilling, yeah.
Yes.
So it does take us back a little bit to after she does her presentation, right, in Prague in this hall. She meets Robert and her meet Brigitte, and they're waiting for her, and she comes in very like, oh, I ordered you guys this and that, very
they're at a
confident,
bar,
right?
yes.
They're at a bar, and she tells Catherine, I ordered you, I don't know how to say it, local Bohemian absinthe. We joke that if you can still pronounce its name, you need to drink another. It says a power play of disguised hospitality. So why is this important? Because that night, that's when she had this nightmare.
After hanging out with this
after
with
drinking
Gessner.
that.
Yes.
Because it is said that it's a myth. It's that absinthe produces hallucinations. Or just severe intoxication, one or the other. So, and that's what I think Landon questioned, like, could that nightmare have been because of the absinthe you took? And then it talks about it here, because that's what Brigitte gave her. So as they're talking, she invites her to come and tour the lab, but also asks, she needs to sign a non-disclosure agreement, which Robert says, no, not quite, not yet. So then you wonder, whoa, what is she hiding that you know what I mean? So I just had to say that. So.
And again, Robert's a rational brain, right? He wants to explain this away. Like, oh, it must have been caused by what she drank.
Yeah, exactly. It's not something your mind.
Yeah, it can't be some supernatural thing that is happening.
Exactly.
123.
Okay.
I just wrote, Catherine gives more evidence of her argument in her book. She talks about our traditional views of consciousness. She says they're entirely wrong. She talks about sudden savant syndrome, the abrupt manifestation in a human mind of a unique skill or knowledge that previously was non-existent. She gives us evidence of this. And she mentions, and I had heard, maybe you, dear reader, had also heard about these stories. I'm just going to read from page 123. There was a U.S. Navy vet who was found unconscious in a hotel room and awoke speaking fluent Swedish. He had no recollection of his own life, instead of recalling his life as a Swede named Johan Ek. And the Golem and Catherine call these cosmic signals that get crossed. There's another story of James Leninger, a 2-year-old boy haunted by nightmares of being trapped in the cockpit of a burning fighter jet. In his waking hours, young James drew pictures of a burning jet. Remember, this is a 2-year-old. A burning jet, and talked through complicated pre-flight routines using technical vocabulary that his parents, and most certainly the young child, had never heard. When his frightened parents asked him where he got his information, the boy declared his name was not James, but rather James Houston, not James Leninger. And he was a fighter pilot who flew off a Natoma with his friend Jack. To the parents' astonishment, a search of World War II records revealed a fighter pilot named James Houston had flown off the Natoma Bay aircraft carrier with fellow pilot Jack Larson. Houston had crashed and died, trapped in his burning cockpit. The story only got stranger from there, and it was now subject of numerous documentaries as well as endless online speculation. I had heard that story before.
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting that it was mentioned here. So yes, this is what the Golem, or maybe Catherine, call cosmic signals that get crossed. So apparently there's other stories like this where people seem to be a person that they're not. You know, they're like some other soul is taking over this body, or two souls inhabited this body at a certain point. It's really strange.
That is really strange.
I don't know if that makes sense. But anyway, moving along.
So, and that was, what I think, is that when she was talking about?
She's just giving, I'm not sure where she was at, but she's just supporting her arguments with more evidence, right?
About human consciousness and stuff like that. So, Landon at this point is not arrested, but kind of detained because of what he did, or what, you know. And so this I don't know if I'm saying his name right, Janasek? This Czech National Intelligence Service, and his companion, or his partner, right? Yeah, which turns out to be his nephew. They're questioning him, and then Michael Harris comes into the picture, I think, and he's
a lawyer.
He's a lawyer, and he's the ambassador's attaché, the assistant, right, to the U.S. ambassador, and we'll see her in a bit. And he's kind of like there to protect Landon. Like, no, you can't question him yet. Oh no, we have to go to the embassy, or he's there to protect him, right? And so, but they have to separate for a little bit. Michael Harris has to go off because he was ordered to. So he goes off with these two men, to the lab, to Brigitta's lab.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember why they ended up there. But once they end up there, he remembers he saw a card in her briefcase the night before. And so he's a symbologist. He solves puzzles and all that. So he was able to, because they were talking about how her password is a mix of this and that, and he actually solved it right then and there, because that's what he does. And he was able to get into her lab. He got away from the other two who were doing I don't know what. He got into her lab and then noticed that in one of the pods strapped was a body. Mm-hmm. And then he said, oh no, Catherine. Mm-hmm. So he thought it was Catherine that was there strapped dead, which in fact was Brigitta. Mm-hmm. And she is found dead. Mm-hmm. So Dana, who's I think something with social media for the embassy also, is in a secret relationship with Michael. And
the attaché.
The attaché, yes. Mm-hmm. And so Michael goes to her and says, hey, I need you to go through the cameras, because apparently there's a lot of cameras in Prague, because Landon already told them, this is what I saw. This is why I did that, because my girlfriend, or, Catherine had a nightmare and I saw this woman on the bridge. And they're like, what? So he says, can you go and see if you see a woman at this time? So she's looking and she's kind of bothered, like, who's this woman that you're looking for, right? Because they're in a secret relationship. The embassy should not know. And so she's, so anyways, it says here, social media, Dana thought, the biggest intelligence boom since the Catholic Church invented confession. Mm-hmm. So it's like both are systems of voluntary self-disclosure. When you go confess.
I love that, Lily,
When you go confess, you're just spewing out your business, your life, right? For whatever reason, you know. Yeah. And then social media, there's people that do the same thing.
Yeah.
They're putting their life out there. And both are choices.
Yeah.
Both are choices.
With consequences.
Yeah. And so she's going through this search. She's like reluctantly looking through their search for the woman, the face. And she finally does see the woman. Kind of like, and I think Michael's doing it because he wants to prove what Landon is saying is real. Like, okay, he actually saw a woman. Well, what does that mean for them? Yeah. That's where we're at. Yes. Dana is introduced here.
142.
Okay.
I'm a fun fact kind of gal. Lily's your researcher. I'm your fun fact gal.
Yes.
So here, there's some comments on seizures. Some more evidence that Catherine gives. Some of humankind's most creative minds have been epileptic. Vincent van Gogh. I didn't know this. You're a big fan of Agatha Christie. Socrates and Fyodor Dostoevsky, the Russian novelist, had once proclaimed his epileptic seizures to be a happiness and harmony unthinkable in the normal state. Others describe their seizures as opening a gateway to the divine, blissfully freeing the mind from the confines of its physical shell, and providing otherworldly bursts of profound creativity. Epilepsy appeared with notable frequency in Christian artwork, which was not surprising considering so many scriptural accounts of mystical experiences. Visions, ecstasies, divine encounters, transcendent revelations all seem to describe with uncanny specificity and accuracy the experience of an epileptic seizure, including Ezekiel, St. Paul, Joan of Arc, and St. Brigida. Raphael Sanzio's famed The Transfiguration depicted an epileptic boy in the throes of a seizure, which he and others commonly used as a visual metaphor for Christ's ascent to heaven. So I didn't know there were these many, I didn't realize, that these famous people were epileptic, or how much of Christian artwork depicted this.
Yeah.
Yes. So again, fun fact. Moving along.
I have page 174.
Me too.
What?
More fun facts.
More fun fact. Catherine, I'm sorry. Why are we here?
I can read while you figure it out.
Yes.
30 years ago, Catherine complained, physicists proved that communication between two entangled particles is instantaneous. And yet we're still teaching Einstein's mantra that nothing travels faster than the speed of light. I thought that was interesting, right? The communication that is in. So what she's saying is that, yes, there are things that travel faster than the speed of light.
It's funny, we're on the same page, but you chose something different.
Okay.
Again, Catherine and Robert are talking here, and she said, Langdon recalled she had fretted about whether readers and book reviewers would be open to new ideas. And let's face it, the human mind hates change, she said. Yesterday, while sipping espresso at the stylish La Boheme Cafe, and they're going back and remembering their conversation from the day before. And the mind despises abandoning existing beliefs. Langdon smiled. That's why religions endure for millennia, despite mountains of evidence contradicting their beliefs. And I wrote, yep, because we have to admit we're wrong.
And we don't want
and
to.
we don't want to. We like comfort. We have to get uncomfortable to change, and we don't want that. So we keep believing what we believe.
Yeah. It's so ingrained in our minds and our souls.
It's part of our culture, society, and anything else is not right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And we have to admit that some of the science goes over our heads. Maybe my CD stack is not as high. It doesn't quite reach the International Space Station. But
because we don't have CDs.
Yeah. 182.
Okay.
I wanted to make a comment on psychological warfare. PSYOPs was a bloodless, low-risk, extremely effective way to weaken the opposition, disrupt, destabilize, disorient. An enemy distracted by chaos made poor decisions and was easier to manipulate. And they mentioned Napoleon and they mentioned other historical figures, but I couldn't help but connect this quote to what is happening in the United States right now. You know, we're a nation of chaos currently. And what I think here we are, it's Finch. We haven't talked much about Finch.
Yeah.
This is his strategy. This is what he's learned as a CIA operative and now director, I think. Is he the director?
He's not the director.
He's one rank below.
Judd.
Yes. And so he is trying to strategize, formulate a plan for recovering this book, which we still don't know why it's such a big deal. And he is creating chaos. That is why, and I don't know if we're going to say this later, Lily, but what happened with this dream that Catherine had. Should we just mention it now?
Yeah.
So, and help me out if I'm recalling incorrectly. So what they find out is that the CIA had hidden a microphone in their bedroom. And that is how they found out about Catherine's dream. So they recreated it in order to disrupt, destabilize, and disorient. So that was part of the CIA's plan all along. So she really, and that is why Dana was looking for this woman. Who is this woman, right? And eventually she went to a hotel room and she found someone clearing out the bedroom, right? Robert and Catherine's bedroom. And she was told to leave and pretend she hadn't seen anything.
Well, she went because she thought maybe Michael was having an affair with her.
Yes.
So it's for personal reasons. Early on, I know they talked about in the hotel, Robert and Catherine's hotel room, there was a flower arrangement, blue, red, and white, placed there by the embassy, kind of like as a welcome thing, right? It was tulips. So this field officer that was dressed like that was because Finch told her. She just takes orders from him.
Yeah.
He said, because they overheard everything because there was a mic hidden in this arrangement. So she goes, dresses up, and now she's there, I think, trying to clean that out because she doesn't want to see that. But Dana walks into this lady and, gun on her head, because she doesn't know who's coming in. But yeah, she's there because she thinks Michael is having an affair with this lady. So this person, her name is Officer Housemore, that's the only name we have, was the lady dressed up like that. So we know now, yes, there was a dream that Catherine had, but it wasn't, there was a real,
anything.
No, it didn't.
So
There's
in this case, there's a logical explanation.
Yeah.
And the idea was to disorient Catherine and Langdon create all this craziness.
Yeah. I'm
192.
Okay, yeah.
I just wanted to make a comment on the afterlife. Gessner, here we see a flashback. Gessner is alive and talking to Catherine, and she tells her that Catherine has stated publicly that she believes in out-of-body experiences are strong evidence that consciousness resides outside the brain and therefore can survive death. In other words, the afterlife is real. So this is a summary of one of Catherine's biggest arguments in her book, right? We tend to think that our soul, our consciousness is inside us. And the book will give us evidence of the opposite, which I thought was...
Because true facts.
Yeah.
So it makes you think everything that you've ever believed, actually.
But of course, Langdon wants to argue against that. He says things like, there is a reason that mirages of oases are seen only by thirsty travelers in the desert and never by college students walking on the quad. We see what we want to see. So he's constantly trying to argue against what Catherine is saying, but he is becoming more and more convinced towards the end of the book that there is some truth to what she's proposing.
I don't have anything till 266.
226. Is there some truth to this? Langdon sometimes sensed the only reason to do anything anymore was to post it for the world to see, which is what you mentioned, right? What do they call it? Performative. Performative acts, right? You just go there. You go to the place so you can post a picture, or you drink the thing so you can show people.
Yeah, exactly.
I just thought that was interesting. Like,
that's what we
for us to reflect on. On 236, we have more on Catherine's theory. If you view a murmuration of starlings not as many individual birds, but rather as one complete organism, then the synchronization is to be expected. The starlings are moving as one because they are one, an interconnected system, no separation, much like the individual cells in your body, which form the integrated whole that is you. And I love this. I believe the same holds true for each of us as human beings. Catherine said, sounding excited. Now, we mistakenly picture ourselves as isolated individuals, when in fact we are part of a much larger organism. The loneliness we feel is because we can't see the truth. We are, in fact, integrated into the complete whole. Separation is our shared delusion. It makes sense. Science tells us that every living creature is a part of a larger organism. She gives you the cell example. She gives you the birds as an example. Why do we think we're different?
Right. Yeah.
And we are, I think the living organism that is the most separated from our kind, even though we live in community. I mean, psychologically, we're a mess.
We are a hot mess.
Sadly.
Yeah.
We're a mess.
So to recap, I think we're at the point where Robert already found Brigitte dead. And there was another person there that he found there, and her name is Sasha. Sasha is Brigitte's lab assistant. And, Sasha's background story is she was orphaned. She was in a Russian, she suffered from epilepsy.
Epilepsy,
And she was in a mental institution, as a young girl. And then Brigitte rescued her from there because she was being accused of killing her nurse, which her nurse was not very nice to her. She would beat her and just was not very nice. So Brigitte rescued her from that environment and gave her a job. And we learned that she was actually using her as a test subject. And she was helping her cure her epilepsy and helping her cope through that. But she gave her somewhere to live, gave her a salary, and so on and so forth. So Robert has gone with Sasha, escaped the USZI men that had captured him first, and now he's on the run with her. And he called Michael, because Michael, the attaché, is supposed to be the one protecting him, right? And he said, go to Sasha's apartment. I will meet you over there. So he trusts Michael and says, Sasha, we need to go to your apartment. So, we learned that Sasha and Michael did have some kind of a relationship also. I was like, wait, what's going on?
Yes.
So they go to
There's a lot going on in the book.
They go to her apartment to wait for Michael to see what else to do, because he's on the run now.
Yes.
He's on the run. All the while, one of the guys, Janasek, he gets a phone call from the ambassador. And something is said to make him want to jump and commit suicide.
But the golem pushes Janicek.
So the golem is the one that actually pushed him off.
But they think it was suicide because of the news he received.
Yes, because he was doing stuff that he shouldn't have been doing. It was going to get him in trouble.
His pursuit of Langdon was unreasonable, but he felt that he was justified. He really did believe that Langdon was the one that created all this chaos. And again, remember, this was by design.
Yeah.
The CIA, the U.S. government, wanted, Langdon to be pursued.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I'd like to add to it, the summary that Lily gave you, is that Sasha was devastated when they found Brigida's body. She was very grateful to this woman who she felt was her, guardian angel in one way. I mean, she did not realize that this woman was just using her.
Yeah.
But yes, that's where we're at. They're at the apartment waiting for Michael to kind of regroup.
I think we already passed that.
Yeah?
I think, I don't even know.
Kind of to regroup and strategize, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens next, Lily?
Well, and Faulkman is still
In
captivity.
Yeah, still in captivity.
He's still, he's the men are telling him, we're going to Prague. He's like, no, I can't. I don't have my passport. Like, I love his personality because he's very sarcastic and kind of like, okay, you're
just
in danger,
cracking
dude.
jokes. Yeah.
And these two men, we know they're getting orders from a higher up.
Yeah.
We don't know yet who, but we know that they're just following orders, and this is still tied to the book. Anyway, so I'm on page 266, and then this is Catherine saying, precisely, that's how we humans have always dealt with phenomena that don't fit our reality. We ignore the occasional oddity rather than admit our entire model is wrong. And that's, again, we don't want to think about it. We just want to know what we know is true, because anything else different changes changes everything.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's and she's being real about that. That's how we've always been. And that was pretty much it there. And there's, talking about, she also talks about muscle memory. And I've used muscle memory term when I teach my adult learners in the Montessori training class, that when we teach children their sounds, they have to touch the letter. They need to feel it to build that muscle memory. But in fact, she says there's no such thing as muscle memory. It's an oxymoron. Muscles don't have memory. In reality, when you practice, you're fine-tuning your brain. And I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
So when we practice a sport, like they were talking about a sport, an instrument, it's not our muscles, it's our brain that we are fine-tuning. Our brain is, plasticity. It can change. The neural pathways can change easily. So it's just about practicing and changing those pathways to make it seem like it's our body, but it's really our brain that's changing.
That's true.
Yeah.
You say that right. Muscle memory.
Muscle
like
memory.
It's non-existent.
What page are you?
I'm,
okay.
yeah.
So Robert left Sasha's apartment because there was a note placed under the door saying Catherine is something about Catherine.
Yeah.
Right? So he's like, first of all, where's Catherine?
Yeah, we still don't know.
We still don't know where she's at.
340 pages in. Or 200.
Yeah, we still don't know. So he sees a note, something about Catherine. He runs out in the snow, looking around like, who left this
loafers.
note, right? And his loafers. Yeah, they talk about his loafers.
He's not dressed appropriately for the weather.
For the Prague weather. And so he says, I need to go find her at whatever location this note said. And then Sasha says, take my key, because you can come back to be safe here. So he leaves. Michael comes to look for them at her apartment. And Sasha had already made tea for the three of them, right? But Langdon left to go look for Catherine. Michael gets there, but is killed.
Yes.
He is struck on the head, I think,
By
or
the golem?
strangled by the golem. We know this, right?
Yes,
the golem is the
this.
one that did this. Sasha is hiding somewhere.
Yes.
Honestly, at one point, I thought the golem was there to protect Catherine.
Oh.
But it turns out now we know the golem is there to protect Sasha.
Yes.
So Sasha is hiding. Eventually, we don't know where she's at either. So she's hiding. Robert is looking for Catherine. He's up there, and one of the USZ guys is following him.
I was trying to remember where, because it's
Petrin
really
Hill?
cool. Yes, he gives us a map of
Petrin Tower.
Prague. And you can kind of follow along
Yeah.
to all the places that they've been. So they're in some kind of a tower, yes. Because I remember he's way at the top.
He's way at the
that's
top.
where the note told him to go. But
Yeah.
anyway, go on.
Yeah, he doesn't have his phone because he fell in the river. But he
Yeah.
doesn't have his phone. He's there looking for Catherine, and Catherine's not there. But yet this guy is following him, right? So he has to go. He gets a couple. He's taking pictures of this couple, and he manages to look through his email. And they're like, "What are you doing? That's our phone, right?" So that's how Catherine is communicating with him. Emails, because he remembers something about emails.
Yeah.
And she writes down some kind of code that only he, because he's a symbologist, he would know how to decipher. And he does. He ends up going to this museum, which they had been a few days ago or the day before. And he remembers the Devil's Bible.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
The Devil's Bible. And I thought it was so interesting because I'm like, what is this thing? And so the Devil's Bible actually lives in Sweden. That's its home. But it was in Prague for like a year as a display, as for display. And it's supposed to be 165 pounds. And there's a whole story behind. Yeah. It's a very interesting story. And I do want to go to Sweden, actually, just to see it.
We have a lot of places to go to.
We do. Live life to the fullest. You never know. So he's thinking, okay, so she left me this email. And he deciphers it. And it is to go to this museum. It's called the Clementinum. He's like, but wait. Again, remember, this is in the span of 24 hours, right? So it's still morning. He's like, but it doesn't open until 10 o'clock. Anyways, he heads over there. And as he heads there, he goes, where are all these people coming from, right?
Yeah.
So what's interesting, I thought it was a great idea. He sees a sign. It says Clementinum, now open at 7 a.m. And so then somebody, I don't know if a docent or somebody that works there, it's a marketing initiative. So, and it's so cool because, when you get to the airport at crack of dawn, your room at a hotel is not ready till 3 o'clock. Well, their initiative is to have this museum open at 7 in the morning so people flying in can have a place to be or go to at 7 in the morning where they can put their luggage in, get people to go to museum. And it says here, they offer them coffee and donuts. That's where coffee and donuts come in. So I told Araceli, we're going to have donuts this morning.
So you will see us eating our donut as we speak to you.
So this is, he got you with sprinkles. I don't know why he
It's
didn't
okay.
hear you.
Richard doesn't pay attention, guys.
Choose one, I know. So this is why we're having coffee and donuts. Because of this museum and this wonderful, I love that. I feel like if we were, sometimes we go to places like, what are we going to do for, you walk around with your stuff. But if you can go to a museum and get educated already, I think that's wonderful. And that is
to say, Robert is not going to have a donut because he's freaking out because he's looking for Catherine.
Yeah, he's looking for Catherine. Still looking for Catherine, yeah.
337. We're on the same page.
We're on the same page.
So I will read. They mentioned the experiments which go over my head. That's what I wrote on my poster. So Langdon was able to get his head around only enough to accept that some very smart minds believed future events did indeed affect past events and that time was capable of flowing in reverse. I actually believe that. I've been contemplating that based on what I've listened to and what I've read. And I found it is interesting that they mention it here. And I guess what I meant is that I believe it, although the experiments I don't understand too much. They do mention it here, but time moving backward makes no sense. There must be some other explanation. So we've been taught to believe that time is linear, right? But based on the physics, and again, physics is not my strong suit, there's time is warped. And science, I think, has explored that possibility. And there's strong arguments for other types of movement when it comes to time, that it's not just going forward.
Yeah, one says right here.
Yeah.
In this view, the universe isn't bound by linear time as humans perceive it. Instead, it operates as a timeless whole where past, present, and future coexist.
There you go. That's what
right.
Yeah.
And we've seen that with We've seen that with movies.
Yes.
Like
movies,
the Stranger Things, the series.
Explore that, multiple
dimensions, right?
Yes. Layered.
So,
yes, that's true.
And even the book, remember A Wrinkle in Time?
Yes. I just watched that movie, actually. Yeah,
Oh, did
on the
you?
plane. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah.
So it makes me think like, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
So
Yeah.
there's an experiment that is mentioned here that illustrates, I guess, this argument. If an athlete has an amazing Olympic result and sets a world record, something that has never occurred before and which nobody else can replicate, we don't decide the television cameras played a trick or the audience was hallucinating. We see it as simply a remarkable result. Just because you can't perform the same thing twice doesn't mean it didn't happen.
That's true.
So what Catherine is saying here is that science wants multiple samples of something before they deem it true. She's like, things happen once all the time.
Yeah.
And we don't question it. So why are we questioning this?
Mm-hmm.
So he says, fair point, but that's sports. This is science. Repeatability is a key part of the scientific process. Yeah. I mean, I guess.
I can see both.
Yes.
Arguments. Yeah.
Yes. 240?
240. 340.
340, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, no?
Yes.
More on Catherine's theory. And I read to you, fellow reader, because, I mean, she says it better than I can summarize it. So Catherine says, in the non-local consciousness model, your brain is a kind of radio that receives consciousness. And like all radios, it has countless stations bombarding it all the time. So you can immediately understand why a radio must have a tuning dial, a mechanism that enables it to choose which single frequency it would like to receive. The radio itself has the capacity to receive all stations, but without a way to filter the frequencies that flow in. It would play all those frequencies at once. The human brain works the same way. It has a complex series of filters to prevent the mind from being overloaded with too much sensory stimulus, so it can focus on only a small sliver of the universal consciousness. So the way I understood this is we're born pre-programmed, right, to a certain frequency, and people that have other senses awakened
Like
have
savant
learned,
syndrome.
yes, and epileptics, and all these other people that we mentioned, clairvoyants, they have been able to tune in to other frequencies. I love the radio metaphor. Really helped me understand her argument.
Yeah.
She mentioned GABA.
A lot.
Let me just read to you. Modern neuroscience has now identified the actual biological mechanism by which the brain filters out incoming data. It's called GABA, gamma aminobutyric acid. So GABA is a remarkable compound, a chemical messenger in your brain that plays a critical role in regulating brain activity, but probably not in the way that you think. GABA is an inhibitory agent, so it protects you from overstimulation. It's kind of like the off button. That's how I understood it, right? Because the brain can't, the way we are programmed, we can't handle all that stimulation coming in at the same time. So GABA is the on and off switch.
That regulates.
Yeah, that
right?
regulates what comes in, and how much of it comes in. So, yeah.
So by now, yes. So by now, he's in this museum. He went to go in search of Catherine. He's seen the book of the Devil's Bible, and there's a lot of people. And then he's remembering something about when they were there before. He showed her. There's a what is it, like a railing on the top? Like, okay, but if there's another floor, how can people get up there, right? So he showed her how there's a door that leads to a staircase. So he goes in there and knocks, and Catherine is hiding in there. And all the while, this other person is following him, right? And so while he's in there, hug, kiss, kiss, and we learned there that she actually has a copy of her manuscript there, right? And so Landon comes up with a plan of how to escape, because there's really no other way to escape. They either die in there by this guy shooting at them, or they find a way to get out. He figures, he's like, what do you have in your bag? So do you have matches or something? Like, why would... Anyway, so he finds things. What was it? Some kind of battery that she had in there to
because her purse
charge.
had a built-in charger. I've never heard of that.
Never. I don't.
Yeah,
Have that.
so he kind of triggered it to start a fire because he wanted to set off the fire alarm.
Yeah,
That was his goal.
So he went. He was able to sneak out, trigger the alarm by lighting up. I think he had a wrapper from a granola bar because it's foil, hand sanitizer, and her manuscript.
Don't tell them how to start a fire, Lily.
I know, right? I saw that. I'm like, these are giving people ideas.
Yeah.
If you're in the library, I was like, what is he doing in this museum? Oh, because they were in the library inside this museum.
Uh-huh.
And so the fire alarm goes off, but they had to burn her book. Yeah. And so the only copy she had left, but I think at this point they're still hopeful that Jonas has a copy, which they don't know yet that Jonas doesn't have. He's also, they did away with that copy too. So that's where we're at. So, going back to talking about GABA stuff, Robert, I would say it's wonderful. It means that during the dying process, our brain's filter opens up and we become a radio that hears the entire spectrum. Our consciousness witnesses all of reality. Catherine took his hands and held them tightly. That is precisely why people who have near-death experiences describe a feeling of total connection, of all-knowing bliss. The chemistry proves it. As we die, our bodies shut down and our brains wake up. And I've always wondered about that. Those people that have those near-death experiences. Yeah. I think reading this, there's something that explains it, right? Something in our brain that opens up to allow pretty much your, as they explained it here, to see your life come before you.
Like fast forward, multiply flashing before your eyes.
So that's why I feel like we need to have all these experiences so we can have all those flashes.
Good flashbacks.
Yes, good flashbacks. And so
I've, I'm a commuter and I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I've been listening to the telepathy tapes, and a lot of what is mentioned in this book is mentioned in that podcast. There's movies about experiences like this. There's literature. You just mentioned several books. Life is a Dream is a classic by Lope de Vega that explores this topic too. So it's nothing new. Going back a couple of pages to 344, Lily, I just wanted to comment again on GABA, right? The key to understanding consciousness, says Catherine, human beings have extraordinary powerful minds, but we also have extraordinarily efficient filters to prevent an overload of input. GABA is the protective veil that prevents our brains from experiencing what we can't handle. It limits how expansive your consciousness can be. This single chemical may be the reason why humans are not able to perceive reality as it truly is. So
I was like, that was scary.
Yeah. Again, remember what we told you that is mentioned in the beginning of the book. All the science in this book is real. All the experiments that are mentioned are real. So it's scary, but then it's also like, wow, life altering.
Like what is happening right now that we're not able to experience because of this GABA filter that we have, that it's only allowing us to be here right now.
Did you read from 347 already? I have a feeling you did.
Yes.
Okay.
No. Yes, the chemistry.
Yes. So I will skip that then. And then the page 348, Catherine's conclusion. We already know from near-death experiences that death involves a breaking free from our physical form, combined with an intense feeling of joy and connection to all things. If we know our individual consciousness comes from outside our brain, as so much noetic research now shows, then to my ear, it sounds like consciousness simply abandons the physical realm at the moment of death and it reintegrates back into the whole. You no longer need your body to receive the signal. You are the signal. So she's saying that all humans are equipped with the hardware required to perceive the true nature of the universe, and yet we are chemically protected from using it until the moment of death. A catch-22. Yeah. And then I wrote on page 349 that I love this quote. My brain is only a receiver. In the universe, there is a core from which we obtain knowledge. This quote is associated with Nikola Tesla. Yeah. I mean, I never thought of my brain as a receiver.
Right? I think that quote is in the beginning too. by Nikola
I think
Tesla.
he included a couple of quotes. You're right. I don't know if is it that
it's
one?
not that one, but it's by Nikola.
So then on page 349, and I was wondering, and then she does mention the psychedelics, right? Hallucinogens that cause overwhelming emotions and vivid imagery, and how many drug trips include out-of-body experiences. And I wondered what the GABA response looked like when that happened. So there's experiments that have been done. Those drugs decrease your GABA levels, lower your filters. You are not hallucinating. You are actually seeing more of reality. So they've been called hallucinogens, but she's saying they're helping you experiment more of reality.
And so I guess when they say you're on a trip, you're literally on a trip. I know they don't mention it there, but later on they mention ayahuasca.
Yes.
And have you heard of ayahuasca? And I was like, and then it is mentioned there. I was like, oh, that is interesting.
Well, and one of the podcasts I listened to, they interviewed Jada Pinkett Smith, and she said she tried it. And I think it was her that said, maybe it was somebody else that took ayahuasca, but I'm pretty sure it was her. She said she felt like she was being cradled by God. That's beautiful, huh?
Yeah.
And not everybody has the same experience when they use ayahuasca, but I found that very compelling.
For some of them, it helps them with addictions and stuff like that.
So on 350, Catherine says, the chemistry of consciousness is not just a fascinating exercise in self-exploration. It could be the shift humanity needs to survive. Think of the chaos. Remember we mentioned this earlier? Think of the chaos and discord of our world today. Imagine a future in which humans start to lower our brain filters and begin to exist with a greater understanding of reality, a greater sense of inclusion and togetherness. We might truly start to believe that we're a unified species. So this is, to me, it was like, okay, this is why the CIA doesn't want this book to be published. You know, power-hungry corporations, dictators, people like that don't want us to be a unified species. It doesn't make them money. It removes their power. So at this point, I'm like, okay, this is why. On 394, she mentions, or somebody mentions, ancient Chinese strategist Sun Tzu that had devised an entire military campaign around his famous mantra: confusion creates chaos, and chaos creates opportunity. And I just said, our current government.
Yep.
So we're seeing that being mentioned a lot. Chaos, confusion. 407. This is what I said about the telepathy tapes. There's something else mentioned here about remote viewing. So I'm just going to read to you what Catherine tells us it is. I don't know if you've heard of it before. So Stargate was an actual, what do we call it? Experiment, institution? Project, yes. Stargate existed, and it tried to develop a never-before-imagined surveillance technique called remote viewing. It consists of a viewer sitting in a quiet location, meditating until he falls into a trance, and then projecting his consciousness out of his body, freeing it from its local bonds, and letting it materialize effortlessly anywhere in the world so the consciousness can view what is happening in remote locations. So this is true. There are people with remote viewing capabilities. One of the podcasts that I listened to interviewed a woman who worked for the CIA and was spying on other governments. So she's like, it's true, it existed, and it was called Stargate.
And there's and it lists them here. There's autobiographies and biographies of people that were involved in Stargate.
Yeah. Go on, Lily. Do you
Well, I don't have anything, but should we give them a preview of where we're at now?
Yes, do that before I go on.
So they've already met the ambassador. How do you say her name? Nagel?
Nagel, I would say.
Right, Nagel.
Miss Nagel.
And she, I think they already gave her backstory. She was a lawyer, worked for the CIA, and was tricked really into going to Prague and to be the U.S. ambassador there. And she was tricked because it was almost like they blackmailed her, right? They set up documents in her office that if she did not go, these were going to come up and she was going to be in major trouble. So she goes to Prague, beautiful house, and she's there. And Michael was her attaché, right? Her assistant. And so we know now that I think she said she understands what this Finch guy, this other CIA guy, not the director, but this other CIA guy who's calling all the shots. He's the one that tricked her. He's the one that placed her there in Prague because he knew her value. She was really good at what she does. And so now she understands, like, what they're doing down there in Threshold is wrong. So it's almost like she goes rogue. She wants to protect Robert. She wants to protect Catherine and now Sasha because she knows that Michael is dead. And so that upsets her. It's like her own people. And so there's this talk that Sasha is the one that killed Michael. That's what is being said. But Michael's like, no, Sasha, or Robert said, no, not Sasha. It couldn't have been Sasha. It was, and we still know who they. Anyway, so that is where we're at.
On page 408, they mention the Egyptians. And they talk about astral projection, looking at the stars. So Langdon says that the pyramids included carefully angled shafts to enable the pharaoh's soul, or Ka, to move in and out to the stars. The word Ka, Langdon had noted in his book, was often mistranslated as soul, when in fact it meant vehicle, the way of transporting consciousness to other locations. The wisdom the pharaohs acquired on their soul's journey to the stars was possible only because of their understanding of untethered Ka. In other words, non-local consciousness. The notion of an eternal, incorporeal soul, Langdon wrote, was a universal constant across all religions. So the fact that all religions believe in something similar, I mean, gotta be truth to it, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, I mean, you learn bits of information here and there. I mean, we read a lot, so we know a lot. But I don't think I ever brought it all together like this book did, right?
Yes.
It was like, yeah, we needed a book like this.
Yes.
To bring it all together for us. So I wanted to comment on 409 about lucid dreams because I just had one.
What?
So in case you don't know, dear reader, what a lucid dream is, it's a bizarre experience wherein she woke up inside her dream, realized she was dreaming, and was able to do whatever she wanted within her dream. This is Catherine telling us what a lucid dream is. So I want to say that most of us have had them. I don't know if you can recall any. And the weird thing about them is they say you forget really quickly. As much as you try to hold on to the memory, like the minute you wake up, it's gone. So I'm going to try to remember what I dreamt, but it was just so real. So in this dream, I had a daughter, but I lost her as a baby.
Oh.
And I was devastated because in this dream, I currently have a daughter. And I wanted that life back, the one where I have my grown-up adult daughter. And I wanted to wake up from that other dream where I no longer had a baby daughter and I wasn't going to know life with a daughter. Does that make any sense to you?
No.
So it was like, so let me reframe. In this dream, I have a baby daughter and she dies.
Okay.
And I'm devastated, obviously, because in that dream, I know that there's another reality where I have a 21-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
And I want out of this
dream
where my baby daughter died and I can't get out.
Because you don't want to feel that pain anymore.
Yeah, I can't get out to the point where I'm questioning if what I dreamt was the 21-year-old daughter. It was bizarre.
Oh.
So I'm like, I have to share with you
What
guys.
did you drink before? Was there something that...
I don't recall drinking anything before, but it was like, I need to share this with the pod because it reminded me, because I had read this prior to this dream. Maybe that's why.
Maybe that's what caused, because sometimes what we read, what we see causes...
Definitely this book took me on an adventure I did not think I would, in terms of the dream realm, right? But it just felt so real to the point where I questioned which one was my reality. The dream.
Wow.
Or maybe this is the dream. Maybe I'm still dreaming. I don't know. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. I did tell my daughter about it. She was like, wow, that's bizarre. On page 216.
216.
Why? I have my numbers.
4?
Yes, 4.
416?
Yes, 416. Sorry. Baby's like, no, we got to move forward, not back. Remember, time moves backwards and forwards.
That's where you're taking us.
We learn, well, we knew, I think, but we are told the story of the Unabomber. Catherine had mentioned earlier a new class of drugs known as dissociatives, which apparently were accompanied by a sense of being disconnected from one's body. And certainly the CIA had a long story of running secret drug experiments, including on the Harvard campus. One of the most notorious CIA projects ever to reach the public eye had been codenamed MKULTRA, which secretly administered LSD to unsuspecting college students to study the effect of the drug on young minds. Eerily, one of the test subjects had been Harvard undergrad Ted Kaczynski, who later became known as the Unabomber. And while the CIA testified that Kaczynski had never been given drugs, they did admit subjecting him to experimental interrogation techniques, which quite possibly could have destabilized his mind.
Wow.
I did not know that.
I didn't know either.
So this is important at the end because, we learn that in Threshold, they're conducting those types of experiments. And maybe this is the time to talk about Threshold. So Threshold is a secret facility, very much like Stargate, where the CIA is experimenting with the mind. And they're doing a lot of what Catherine's book mentions. So this is why they don't want this book to be published, because then everyone will know. Yeah. Right? And they want to maintain these experiments a secret for as long as they can.
Well, and I think part of it too, because it does come out, I don't know if it did already, because and that's why there's so much dialogue between her and Robert. Because there's like, he keeps saying like, well, what's in your book that they want, that they're after us, that they're willing to kill people. And she's like, well, we talked about this. And as they're going through the lab, she's like remembering things like, oh yeah.
So on page 417, we learn about the risk of using psychedelic drugs, because there is a risk.
Yes.
The brain is an incredibly delicate mechanism, and trying to alter it with hallucinogens is like trying to adjust a priceless Rolex wristwatch with a sledgehammer. Drugs induce altered states by creating a jarring chain reaction of neurological disruptions that can have permanent effects. As enlightening as you might find that brief experience, you risk undermining long-term synaptic integrity and neurotransmitter equilibrium. For most hallucinogens, the primary mechanism through which they exert their effects is the dysregulation of serotonin, a very bad idea, as it can easily lead to cognitive deficits, emotional instability, and even enduring psychotic states. So because at first when you read, you think, okay, well, let's just all go take some of this stuff so we can be closer to,
reality.
Yes, but there's also risks, serious risks.
Yes.
So I like that they included that. You did mention, Lily, that they mentioned ayahuasca. So on 418, they mentioned
it there.
Yeah, I think they talk about the Aztecs that spoke to spirits when they used peyote, and the Egyptians consumed mandrake and blue lotus. And they go on and on, giving historic examples of other civilizations that used these psychedelics. So I thought it was interesting that there's a moment when she mentions sex and how even that is an out-of-body experience.
Right.
On 419, she says, climax is considered in every culture to be the most intensely pleasurable experience a person could have, a blank slate detachment from oneself, a momentary abandonment of all. I never thought of it like that, but I guess it is an out-of-body experience.
And people want to keep doing it because it only lasts a few seconds, so you want to keep feeling that.
Exactly. They even explore on...
So on page 429, Jonas is back in his, he was able to run from these men, right? And they learned that, and they captured them in the publishing house because the security got smart. Yeah. And anyways, that happened. But Jonas is now worried for Robert and Catherine because he hasn't heard from them. But then Robert did call him at some point, but then he's like, wait for my call, but he does email him, but he emails him with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 9 letters, a symbol and letter that Robert knew, okay, he's going to be able to decipher this. And it's, as Araceli pointed out, it's the initials for Robert Langdon and Catherine Solomon are good. Good spelled out G-U-D. And Faulkman says, Faulkman had written, to save a single keystroke by typing good instead of
With two
good,
O's.
G-O-D, is not only indecorous, it's an abomination of indolence. And I'm going to say he's also a writer because he did write an article too. So he's a writer, he's a reader. And I agree with him. I feel like texting, right? You want to do the shortcuts and do that, but don't do that.
We're purists
Yes.
when it comes to language.
Yes. Like keep it original.
Yes.
Don't take shortcuts. He gets very upset. You know, he was laughing because he's happy that they're okay, but then he's kind of attacking the way he wrote it, right? Because, and I get it. Texting is a different language, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can read the text that these youngins are using
sometimes
now.
I don't
right?
understand.
I need periods. I need exclamation marks. I need all this. I need all the mechanics, all the
It's
capitals.
another type of coding. Like, you know, we know that Robert is a symbologist, right?
Yes.
So it's almost like, oh, you know, different types of symbols when it comes to texting.
Yeah,
It's a whole other language.
Yeah, I just had to.
Virtual reality is also brought up in this book on page 474. Dual stimuli VR drug therapies are strictly regulated in the medical field because the results were not yet understood. In many cases, the combined stimulation was so powerful that it altered the brain's structure rapidly and in unpredictable ways. Neuroscientists had already begun to see startling structural changes in the brains of young people who combine computer gaming with designer drug use. A new generation of thrill seekers now donned consumer VR goggles and spent hours smoking cannabis while floating virtually through space, snorting cocaine while riding a virtual roller coaster, or edging on various time dilation sex drugs while watching VR porn. To no avail, countless warnings had been issued because the experiences were intensely addictive. And I mean, I can't help but, you know, I mean, we're seeing this now.
Yes.
With our young people.
Yes.
And it's very scary and very concerning. And I'm glad that they talked about it in this book.
Have you ever done VR? Have you ever put
No, but it makes me dizzy. I think I have actually.
Yeah.
Like at museums where they tell you,
okay.
you're going to go rock climbing or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, things like that.
My nephew has one and I tried it and it's something about hiking or...
Yeah.
But then out of nowhere, there's this rattlesnake.
Oh, that comes up.
And I threw myself to the floor and I'm like, get these off because that's my fear.
You acted it out.
Yes, but it was like the sound, seeing it right there, it freaked me out. And I said, nope. But even Robert talks about how he actually did something like that and he was paralyzed. He couldn't move, right? Something about a
fear.
cliff or something because of how afraid he was, even though he wasn't there, just his brain tricked him into believing, right?
Yeah. The power of the brain, right?
Yeah.
It really does believe what it sees, even if it knows it's not real. On page 476, the golem comes up again because we still don't know if this golem is real or it's a supernatural creature. Catherine mentions a man that Brigida brought from the same institution where Sasha was at. And Brigida may have told Sasha that he went home, but these are incredibly dangerous drugs. Anything could have happened. He could have gone insane or died. Who knows? One advantage of recruiting a patient who was abandoned in a government institution is that he won't really be missed if he disappears. So at this point, I'm thinking maybe that's the golem.
Dimitri,
Dimitri,
that's what that was.
The first experimental subject.
Yeah.
Right? That just mysteriously
Subject
disappeared.
number one.
So we both thought that it was Dimitri.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, guys. Just stick around a little longer and we'll tell you who was the golem.
Yeah, definitely
Big
Dan
plot
Brown.
twist, right? Yes.
Yep.
Again, 487. In summary, Catherine's theory. We can't yet prove this cosmic realm exists, but it seems to be regularly glimpsed by minds in altered states. Unfortunately, these experiences are fleeting, uncontrolled, subjective, and often non-repeatable, making them suspect scientifically. We have no quantifiable method, machine, or technology capable of receiving signals from the cosmic realm. Only the brain can do that. And so I proposed a hypothetical chip that could piggyback on a brain, lower its GABA levels, widen its bandwidth, and turn it into a far more powerful receiver. What if Catherine was about to publish a book that describes an ultra-secret chip that the CIA is already building? Well, there you have it, people. That's exactly what the CIA is doing in Threshold. Her book was basically the blueprint for the CIA. It goes way back when she was a graduate student and she had this idea. So they were on it before she even wrote the book.
Well, for artificial neurons or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
actually, let me read this because you just mentioned it on page 488. She says, she calls them, what did you say?
Artificial something?
Artificial neurons. She says, it's not even a real thing. I invented it in my book as a way to talk about a technology that does not exist. It's an artificial neuron. And then Langdon says, would you build an artificial neurons or grow them? And she says, you would grow them. And then Langdon says, well, it looks like Threshold is growing something.
And it's not a arugula.
And it's not arugula.
So they're down in the lab, like deep down in the lab, because because the ambassador, Nigel, told them, go in there.
Yeah.
Because don't take my phone, right? Because it's probably
bugged.
Yeah. And if you take pictures, they're going to say it's just AI. So you need physical proof that something's happening down there. And so they're in there, like deep in there, wanting to get something to bring it back and say this is what they're doing. They also have to clear their name too, because they're in deep trouble right now too, because they're sneaking in there, they're breaking in there. And so as they're going through the lab, and that's when she's explaining about what's in her book, and then she's talking about artificial neurons, and we will see how, because we think, okay, she's going to expose the CIA for this, but that right there, artificial neurons, is what makes us like, okay, this is why they don't want her book published, because they got the idea. I mean, Stargate was already there, right? But the fact that they're using artificial neurons is because she wrote that in her thesis back when she was in grade school, back 23 years prior. And so she didn't get an award, but her professor,
her mentor,
sent it in to get it patented. And she said, okay, she did all the documents, she did all the paperwork. It came back denied, right? But she has that. She has proof that that was what she wrote, and she never thought it was ever going to come
to this,
to that, right? And so she learns now, like they are using my idea. That is verbatim her ideas. She never thought it was going to ever come into reality, but obviously they got their hands on her idea. So I think now she's realizing that is why they don't want me to publish this, because they're going to find out that that is not their idea. It is my idea, right? They in essence stole it from her. Yeah. So and now everything starts like, okay, it makes sense.
Coming together,
now.
yeah. So on 542, because we need to be reminded many times of what Catherine is proposing in her book. Here's one more time. She says, first, there existed thousands of medically documented near-death experiences describing precisely this phenomenon. Second, the world of quantum physics has revealed overwhelming evidence that consciousness was non-local and worked in ways we could not yet comprehend. Third, there were thousands of established cases of paranormal phenomena, telepathy, precognition, mediumship, shared dreams, sudden savant syndromes, occurrences impossible within our established model, and which required Langdon to either shift his perspective dramatically or be willing to classify those phenomena under his least favorite heading, miracles. So she has given you all the evidence of her argument and what she talks about in her book. Why is the government interested? Further on page 543, the only true source of power is information. And in the war to understand our enemies, this dome is our nuclear arsenal, the ultimate surveillance tool. Threshold is the next generation of remote viewing. Further down, Stargate never failed. It simply evolved into something far greater. So we know that Stargate was publicized towards the end as a failure and it was shut down, but that was just what they wanted the public to believe. So then we get a little bit of history on Stargate, the origins of Stargate on page 544. And it came with a Soviet who confessed that they were doing remote viewing in the Soviet Union. So of course U.S. wanted to compete and get ahead of it. So that is where Stargate comes from. And it went on in the 70s, and in 1995, that's when it shut down. There were a lot of security leaks, and the secrecy was jeopardized. So they shut down the program. Yeah. So, but yeah, a lot of people that worked with Stargate have come out and written books about it. Like I told you, I listened to a podcast where one woman was interviewed who worked with them. And people were upset that tax dollars were being used for this and thought it was a waste. And so that's why it was shut down. On 591, we learn about the golem again. And I didn't even think about this, but this is also true. They figure out that the golem is not a supernatural creature, but it's actually a human being. We still think it's Dimitri.
It's Dimitri, yeah.
It's a person with multiple personalities inhabiting a single body. And the science or the psychology behind it is that it's common in women and often arose as a coping mechanism for repeated physical or sexual abuse. Most frequently, the second identity manifested for the purpose of absorbing the host's pain by enduring the trauma in her place. The secondary personality was known as an alternate or alter, and typically appeared in an abrupt schematic break during acute trauma. It was selective amnesia. It is not uncommon for a protective alter to assume control of the body and become the dominant personality. So that is the golem, the dominant personality, the protector. Dissociative identity disorder had first been diagnosed in the 1800s. It goes way back, under the name of double consciousness. We know cases, I mean, for me, like Sybil. I read the book.
I remember that.
And of course, the case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Those are two famous examples that are given in this book. The alters all have different voices, accents, handwriting, skill sets, food preferences, even gender identities. So watch the movie Sybil if you don't have time to read the book.
Sybil, and the other one with, I'll remember.
Some of the alters, 592, were aware of the others living with them in what was known as the system. So some of them are aware, some of them are not. So here, Catherine and Langdon conclude that the golem and Sasha are the same person. We were shocked.
I was shocked.
We did not put two and two together.
Because throughout the book, he's referred to as he, but it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, she was experimented. She was drugged. She's an epileptic. She was traumatized from a young age.
So when and the reason initially why we thought it was supernatural is because it talks about how it was born because it was there to protect Sasha from this nurse that was beating her. So when it said it was born, it's almost like it just manifested itself. But in reality, it did. That was her alter ego getting in there to defend her. And so when she was accused of killing her nurse, well, in reality, it was her, but it was, but she had no memory of it, because they lose that, right?
Yeah.
When this other personality jumps in, they don't remember
the dominant one. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes over. So this is what it's been doing. And the golem turns on Brigitte because Brigitte has been pretty much experimenting on her.
The golem knows.
Yeah.
Who's been hurting Sasha. Michael, the legal attaché, used her to, didn't really have any romantic intentions with her. So he's been killing everybody that he deems have been using or harming Sasha. Now in 597, another case is mentioned about, what did we call this disorder?
DID? Dissociative identity.
Something. Yes. So the case of involving an alleged rapist, William Milligan, who had proven in a lie detector test that he had no recollection of his alleged crimes. As it turned out, Milligan was an unwilling sufferer of DID. One of his alters had committed the crimes without his knowledge. Milligan was acquitted and placed in a psychiatric facility. Before modern psychiatric care, many of those exhibiting Split personality were taken to the only psychiatric professionals available, priests. The church frequently diagnosed them with demonic possession and prescribed a common treatment plan, exorcism. And this continues to this day. There are priests that can still perform exorcisms, believing that a person has been possessed by a demon or something like that.
Interesting stuff, huh?
And yeah, let's see. So moving along, on 601, it's in italics. I just thought this is true. Good and evil do not exist in pure form. I think we all have varying degrees of good and evil inside us. That's part of what makes us human. I think pure evil and pure good are rarities in humankind. On page 610, death is discussed. Death has nothing to do with the physical body. Would define death in terms of consciousness. Consider a brain-dead, non-responsive patient on life support. His body is technically very much alive, and yet we routinely pull the plug on that body. Without consciousness, we view a human body as essentially dead, even when the physical functions are perfectly intact. And the opposite is equally true. A quadriplegic in a wheelchair who has lost physical function of his entire body and yet remains conscious is very much alive. Stephen Hawking was essentially a mind without a body. Imagine if someone had pulled the plug on him. So those are very interesting examples, right? Bodies without minds and minds without functional bodies. We can no longer deny the growing tide of evidence that consciousness can exist outside the body, beyond the confines of the brain. The day has come for us to entirely redefine consciousness and therefore entirely redefine death. And I mean, we're reaching the end of the book, and she's making these conclusions. And in page 611, she talks about how most religions, all religions, talk about death. And on page 622, this is why we're at Starbucks. So Langdon is talking to Catherine, I believe, and Starbucks comes up. Oh no, Faulkman is remembering, talking to Langdon about Starbucks. And Langdon says the Starbucks mermaid has two tails. That means she's not a mermaid at all, but rather a siren, an evil seductress who lures sailors to follow her blindly toward a shipwreck and ultimately toward death. I can't trust a corporation that neglected to conduct any iconographic research before adorning frappuccinos with a deadly sea monster. So we thought it would be fun to bring you here to Starbucks based on what Langdon said.
Yeah. And I think Faulkman, because I think he's, he knows they're safe. He's ready to go home. He stops by Starbucks and he's like, oh, I'm ready to rest. And then he remembers his friend and what he said. Pretty much in honor of him. Let me go. So, I mean, we couldn't go to Prague, obviously, but we came to Starbucks.
Starbucks is in every corner.
Sorry, Robert Langdon.
Yes, this is as close as we could get to your, to a real location.
Yeah.
The topic of dreams comes up again on 625. Experiments have revealed that a dreaming brain was similar to a dying brain. I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
In both instances, GABA levels plummeted, thus lowering the brain's filters, opening the door to wider bandwidths of information. The influx of unfiltered data was the reason dreams manifested as such illogical jumbles of images and ideas. Furthermore, it explained why within seconds after waking, even the most vivid dreams began to fade, despite our desperate attempt to remember them. The brain reset, GABA levels increased, and filters re-engaged, purging the information and once again regulating our perception of reality. Fascinating.
I know.
Right? We can go on to page 630. The current race to harness the power of the human mind is no different. The Russians can already read brainwaves with ultrasound. The Chinese are placing massive orders for Neuralinks brain implants. Bot-fueled social media campaigns influence our elections. And we've just discovered what appear to be brain control technologies embedded in social media apps from overseas. Make no mistake about it, we're in a covert race that has already reached fever pitch. And frankly, it's a race that you and I had better hope we win. So this is the CIA director talking about, this new Cold War
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? That we did not even know was going on. I mean, I did not know this was going on. I mean, I guess I kind of knew. I knew about Stargate. I knew about remote viewing and spying.
Mm.
But, you know, how serious of race is this? How accurate is the book in telling us this, you know, in
Well,
terms
it
of
did say
governments
it's
going.
well, and then it made me think the secret of secrets.
Mhm.
It's almost like Dan Brown is putting their secrets out there now
Yeah.
for all to know.
Yes. Now we all know. Um, what page are you on, Lily? 52?
52.
Let me, I don't know if I want to hold you hostage any longer, dear reader. Let me,
You gotta get to reading.
yes, let me jump ahead a little bit. What behaviors does fear of death produce? Page
Ooh,
644.
anxiety.
Every day we're exposed to graphic media coverage reminding us of our collapsing environment, increased threat of nuclear war, coming pandemics, genocide, the world's endless atrocities. All of this triggers the brain terror management strategy to run in the background at a low level, not yet in fight or flight mode, but anticipating the worst. In essence, the more terrifying our world becomes, the more time we spend preparing subconsciously for death. And Catherine said, while researching mortality, salience, and the brain, I found that an increased fear of death produced a consistent array of behavioral responses, all of them selfish. Interesting. So all this um, fear of death has made us more selfish. Imagine if we did not fear death. Would that have the opposite effect? According to Catherine, yes.
Yeah.
We would work together. We would be more united. But all these doomsday prophecies make us fight against each other.
Mm-hmm.
So the implication is that that's what, you know, the powers that be want, to create this chaos, to make us afraid of death, to remind us of our mortality so that we are fighting against each other.
Yeah.
Let's see, on page 646,
Mm-hmm.
death, this is Catherine's proposal once again. Death is an illusion. Our consciousness survives physical death and lives on. If this is true, and if we can prove it, then within several generations, the human mind will function under an entirely different premise, the belief that death is not so terrifying after all. For the record, I'm still scared.
Yes.
655, the online world. This was very interesting to me. She says, and you mentioned it earlier, young people broadcast themselves nonstop to the world.
Mm-hmm.
I see it every day on campus. This is Langdon talking.
Mm.
Even the world's best and brightest seem far more interested in the online world than the real one. And Catherine says, she says, it's not just young people doing it. I think you have to consider that the online world is a real world. Definitely changed my perspective.
It definitely did because it continues on. Yeah.
A real world where love is expressed with emotions and measured in likes. When you see someone glued to a phone, you see a person ignoring this world rather than the person engrossed in another world. A world that, like this one, is made up of communities, friends, beauty, horror, love, conflict, right and wrong. It's all there. The online world is not so different from our world, except for one stark difference. It's non-local. It's untethered. She uses that word a lot. Untethered from this one.
Like it's
So,
attached.
yes. Yes.
Or untethered. What's the opposite of attached?
Yes, it's the opposite of it. But, you know, I mean, they're connected and they're not, I guess.
I did have that, but
Yeah.
I did have the same one.
Okay, she says it right here. It's untethered from your location. You inhabit it as a bodiless mind, free from all physical restraints. You move effortlessly anywhere, see what you want, learn what you want, interact with other bodiless minds. So there's a mind interaction, not a physical body interaction.
So it's like if you're going to watch us on YouTube, you're interacting with us without us physically being
there with you. Yeah.
So if YouTube is still around for decades to come, we're still there.
Although our physical bodies are not
Or
there.
not.
It was fascinating, I thought. When we lose ourselves in the virtual world, we are giving ourselves a kind of non-local experience that in many ways parallels an out-of-body experience. We are detached, weightless, and yet connected to all things. Our filters are dropped. We can interact with an entire world through one screen and experience almost anything. So, yeah. Interesting premise. Yes. Let's see. And again, here they explain the title of the book, The Secret of Secrets, page 656. Death is not the end. There's more work to do. But science continues to discover evidence that there is indeed something beyond all this. That message is one we should be shouting from the mountaintops, Robert. It's the secret of all secrets. Again, death is not the end. If we summarize the book and the title, that is what is being said. We need to do more work, more experiments. Go ahead.
Going back to 652, the voice was one she heard often. According to Michael, it was her own. This is Sasha. According to Michael, it was her own intuition, her higher self, her subconscious. Everyone had a voice within, he assured her, a part of one's soul that whispered, reassured, and guided. Sasha would write Michael a letter once she got settled. So Michael said everyone has a voice that reassures. Like, I believe that, right? Like, I feel like sometimes I have a conversation with that voice. Is that, I mean, do you?
Yeah.
Do you have conversations
with yourself?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Like, we all have a voice. It doesn't mean we're crazy. We just, when we're alone, I don't know.
Yeah. Multiple versions of ourselves.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So Sasha here has gone to the embassy with a note saying help Sasha. So it's almost like speaking in third person.
Yeah.
But and the ambassador knows, okay, this is, who are we dealing with, the golem or Sasha? Because Robert and Catherine already told her it's an issue of the multiple personality, right? And so they have her detained, right? Because she's also a murderer too. Yeah. So they have to be like, So the ambassador, I think, feels guilty because even though she wasn't a part of it, it's like her people, like she feels guilty because she told Michael to go and befriend her and have a relationship with her.
And Michael,
to get close.
And Michael got killed because of this. And she really valued Michael.
Yeah.
Was close to him. And
so she wants to, and so the ambassador calls Catherine and Robert. Once they think everything's already fine, like, no, come back. Sasha is here. She, is asking for help. And they're like, well, who are we dealing with? So they're going to take her she asked for asylum. They're going to take her to the U.S., treat her. Yeah. Right? Because
she can't live independently anymore. She's too far gone. She needs to be supervised and monitored.
And they said she is entitled to friends.
So in a way, Nagel will be her golem. She will be her guardian angel. She will continue working for the CIA, but her main goal or mission is to make sure that Sasha will be okay, that they won't damage her more than they already have.
Because exactly.
So that's kind of how the story ends for Sasha.
Well, she's on the plane, and then the golem comes to the forefront, and the golem is saying how it'll be there because it's there to protect her, but it's also going to stand back because he wants Sasha to be the one now
to experiment. Experiment being in the U.S. Experience being there.
What she wants, because it talks about how, so she has two cats, Harry and Sally.
Oh yeah, because she liked the movie.
Because she liked watching English movies. I think that's how she learned how to speak English. So now she's going to get to go to New York and experience what she's always wanted. So the golem is going to step back.
To let her enjoy that.
Yeah. Because when the golem was there, Sasha right now has no idea the golem is there. Because she has those blackouts, obviously. We've already seen that.
So we're getting close to the end, dear reader. On page 659, I wanted to read this Kissinger quote to you. This is Kerbal, the CIA director. He wasn't the CIA director. He worked for the CIA. The CIA director was Gregory Judd. So anyway, the quote is, a country that demands moral perfection in its foreign policy will achieve neither perfection nor security. How can we come to terms with this? Like, is there a scale? How much morality should you sacrifice in order to guarantee security and vice versa? I don't have an answer. I just don't know if I'm okay with that quote. Like, I get it, but also,
are we okay with it?
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the one making the decisions, I guess. Again, is this what angels are for? Page 660. The golem, you were saying, Lily, is taking a back seat.
Mm-hmm.
He would manifest quietly in the way so many angels appear, as an instinct, a hunch, a knowing, a helpful nudge from a more experienced soul, streaming in from another world. So is that how we explain our hunches, our instincts, that voice?
That voice
that you mentioned, is that actually a voice from another realm,
my golem.
from another world? I mean,
Do we each have a golem?
yeah, we all have one, and we just, some of us are more attuned to it because of our radio frequencies, right? Our GABA inhibitors. Page 667.
I don't think mine steps in when it should. When it should.
It's not,
It doesn't step in. It needs to be like,
stop. Yes. 667. The right book at the right time can save your life. I hope our timing is perfect with all the books we're reading with you, dear reader.
Yeah.
But for sure, they all teach us
Yeah.
something important. At least all the ones we've read.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, on page 671 on the epilogue, Sasha makes it to America. And they talk about the Statue of Liberty and its spiked halo.
There it is again.
Full circle we come.
Mm-hmm.
The 7 spikes, each over 9 feet long, were said to symbolize the rays of enlightenment that would radiate outward from this young country and illuminate all 7 continents. It's the precise opposite, Catherine believed, seeing them as rays of enlightenment that flowed inward, representing the stream of cultures, languages, and ideas from the 7 continents, all coursing into the melting pot that was the mind of America. This nation, after all, had been created as a kind of receiver, pulling in disparate souls from all around the world, all of them flowing inward toward a shared experience. Gazing out at Lady Liberty, Catherine could hear the faint echoes of the millions who had come to see these shores to pursue their dreams. And this is where we end, dear reader. I mean, it's just so telling, again, of our current political climate.
There's a few people that should read this,
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
You know who you
Yes.
are.
Yes, you know who you are. That is what our nation is. Thank you for an excellent read, Dan
Yes,
Brown.
Dan Brown. Wow, I can't wait to see it on TV.
Oh, yes.
Right?
We're excited for the
Yeah, and Lydia Ann, I hope you liked it too. The winner of our book, and we will be raffling off more books.
show. Yes, so stay tuned.
So,
we want
yeah.
to show you our Post-its because it's
Oh,
a
yes,
lot.
Richard.
Some of them fell on the floor. Some of them continue to fall on the floor.
oh yeah, it was a big discussion.
Yes, look at this, dear reader. And until next time, we will send you some shorts letting you know what we're reading, and so you can get ahead of your reading.
Yes,
And,
be
be ready for our discussion. Until next time, bye.